Coolmore Stud is renowned globally for not only breeding Group 1 winners, but also for sourcing them at their yearling sales. And what better example are two of their new stallions in 2025. The English Easter graduate Switzerland, who went on to win the aptly named Coolmore Stud Stakes, and Magic Millions graduate in Private Life, who went on to win a Caulfield Guineas. Both are barnmates in the new season at Coolmore.
Switzerland has raced away for a dominant display.
Private Life, the son of written tycoon, has staved them off from the front into Caulfield Guineas.
Tom, you know, this is what Coolmore is all about, is standing new, exciting, young Group 1 winning stallions. And it's so brilliant to see Switzerland and Private Life both here. How did you come to have these two horses? Obviously, you know, their racetrack performance was exceptional, but it's the end of a long process to get them here as stallions.
It's great for us this year to have Switzerland and Private Life both sourced from the yearling sales in the same year, one at Magic Millions, one at Easter, and now standing alongside each other in the barn as Coolmore Stud Stakes winner and a Caulfield Guineas winner. For the group of owners that we've put together and to go and have that success on the track and now have two stallions in the barn at Coolmore is extremely satisfying.
Switzerland sprints hard, takes the lead, draws a length in front, 2 lengths in front.
We'll start with Switzerland, and he really was destined for greatness right from the start by a 4-time champion sire in Snitzel, from a daughter of an outstanding US triple Group 1 winner in Blame, at $1.5 million yearling. And from the outset, very good judges. Obviously the Coolmore team is so experienced, they were captivated by this colt.
Well, he was a $1.5 million Easter yearling. He was a real standout at the sales, obviously, to demand that sort of price tag.
$1,500,000 out of a stakes-winning Blame man, you know how good they are.
When you go to the sales and you identify these horses, there's very few races on the agenda that you want to find the winners of. High up on that list is the Coolmore Stud Stakes. So for him to have all those credentials at the sales and then go on and win the Coolmore, that's really what dreams are made of.
He won his first start at Randwick easily in Sydney Saturday grade, and I'd have to say it is the toughest 2-year-old racing possibly in the world. He won his next 2 starts, including the Pierrot Plate, and then of course the Todman Stakes. Now, there's a great honour roll of proven stallions in that 2-year-old group too, aren't there?
Yeah, and that particular edition of the Todman was built up before the race as being a really high-class edition of the race, as it is every year, but that race in particular, there was a number of high-class 2-year-olds in there behind him. Switzerland was broken in, as was Private Life, here on the farm, and put his hand up early as being one that we were keen to follow. And when he went into Chris Waller's system, he was obviously one that stood out, and he got to the races early. He went to the Todman as one of the favourites and put them away that day and went into the Golden Slipper as one of the more favoured runners. He was always our slipper horse, and he started one of the favourites on that day. And it was reported after the race that he had to have a little tidy up surgery after the slipper, so there were excuses that day, and that was the only time he was beaten as a 2-year-old.
Here's Switzerland bursting up the inside.
Well, he came back as a 3-year-old, won the Roman Consul Stakes, and then really impressively, he had just that one jump out at Flemington, and he won the Coolmore Stud Stakes off that one jump out. The fastest time for a 3-year-old at Flemington over the 6 furlongs of the race in 20 years, and a really high time form rating as well. But such a great race to win, as you said. It is a real, you know, we say it because it means it, it is a stallion making race.
Well, it is. It's the race for 3-year-olds. It's the premiership race for 3-year-old sprinters in Australia, and you go through the past winners of the race, and Zoostar, Northern Meteor, Brazen Bow, Home Affairs, and Switzerland won in the fastest time ever recorded by a colt in that race. Achieving a time form rating of 125 puts him up there with the elite sprinters. When he won the Roman Consul, he was discussed as our potential Everest horse. If we did run him in our Everest slot, he would have been extremely competitive, but the Chris Waller team had their eyes on the Coolmore Stud Stakes for months and months before that and didn't want to deviate away from that plan. There wasn't a horse in the land that was beating him that day. He was dominant. It was a huge thrill for everyone. We were all there on the day, obviously, but yeah, to win your own race, a race that you target years in advance. We go to the yearling sales with the view to trying to find a winner of that race and bring him home and stand in the barn here and be able to pull that off was a huge coup.
We all see Snitzel in him. You look at his head, you look at his jowl, you look at his build. Is he sort of the archetypal Snitzel?
Snitzel's one of the best stallions we've had in this country for a long time. 4-time champion stallion. He's doing a job as a sire of sires with 6 individual sons that have produced Group 1 winners. A high-class Blame mare, Miss Bad Behaviour, who is his dam, and Blame himself, as a broodmare sire, hits stakes winners at more than 10% stakes winners to runners. So he's an elite broodmare sire. She was an elite race mare, sourced by Arrowfield to bring back here, specifically, I would imagine, with the view to sending her to Snitzel. He's very much in the mould of Snitzel. He's a real sprinting type. He's got a short back and a big, deep girth, a medium size, plenty of quality and a good action. But when you look at Switzerland and then you look at his race record, it's easy to marry the two up. He looks like a stereotypical Australian sprinter, and yeah, he's all Snitzel.
Obviously, as we mentioned, there are 2 of these new boys in the same ownership group. Private Life is the other one. Quite extraordinary, the influence of Written Tycoon, his sire, on the Australian breed for so many years. His dam, Aliana Tilda, is a group winner by Snitzel herself. So it's a great combination. And again, he was an expensive yearling, $650,000.
Well, I still remember the day we went to Arrowfield in December before the Magic Millions, and we saw their Magic Millions draft. Going away from Arrowfield and driving back to Coolmore that day, he was the horse that we were talking about, the Written Tycoon colt out of Aliana Tilda.
And from his first win, obviously, trainer Chris Waller was touting him as a Guineas horse. I mean, he showed something from the outset.
Yeah, when he won his maiden at Warwick Farm, a super maiden, in incredibly impressive fashion. Chris Waller, as you say, was quoted after that race saying he was the Guineas horse for the spring, and he went on to win the Guineas at his 5th start.
Private Life for Roche coming at Private Life.
In behind him that day, it was a high-class field of 3-year-old milers. Feroce went on in the autumn and won a Guineas. Broadsiding was in there behind him, and then horses like Angel Capital, Evaporate, Public Attention, high-class 3-year-olds. He was able to lead all the way that day and beat a high-class field.
His service fee compares really favourably with other Group 1 winning colts by Written Tycoon.
Yeah, Written Tycoon has been a top-class stallion for a long time, and we're now seeing his sire sons come to the fore, as he was a stallion that did it the hard way, started off at a low base. You look at a horse like Ole Kirk, one of the most exciting young stallions in the country, a fellow Guineas winner by Written Tycoon, standing for 90,000. But Written Tycoon, in his history, has only had 3 Group 1 winning colts as 3-year-olds. They are Ole Kirk, Southport Tycoon, who's new this year, and Private Life, who stands at what we believe to be a great value fee of only $17,500.
And his dam, I well remember Aliana Tilda by Snitzel, as I mentioned, but she won the Epona Stakes. But you have to remember too, she was beaten in the Vinery with only Mosheen and Streamer in front of her, and they were 2 real stars of generation. So she was an outstanding race filly, the dam.
Yeah, Aliana Tilda in any other year may well have been a multiple Group 1 winner. Like it's not often that you run into 3-year-old fillies of the calibre of Streamer and Mosheen. We still remember them today. They're generational type mares, and she wasn't far away from them. So she's a multiple Group 1 place mare by Snitzel. He was freshened up after the Guineas to target the champion sprint at the back end of the carnival, where he ran 5th behind horses like Sunshine in Paris and beat home Giga Kick and others. Obviously we had to separate Switzerland and Private Life, so he went to the Guineas and we were able to win both of them. But he was a high-class sprinter as well. He's a particularly good-looking horse. He's not your stereotypical Written Tycoon. He's all quality. He stands over plenty of ground. He's a great mover. He's a horse that you really remember when you see him. He makes a great impression on you, and as he did when he was a yearling that day when we went to Arrowfield. But he's been extremely popular with breeders, especially when they come and have a look at him. We're selling a limited number of breeding rights in him, and they've been taken up by some leading breeders throughout the country, including Gilguy, who bred Ole Kirk themselves. So they know what an influence Written Tycoon is having on the breed, and they've identified some of their best mares to support Private Life with. So we're really excited about the group of people that we've got in behind this horse, and we think it'll stand him in good stead going forward.